let's move on to our next awardee, who is coming in from international, from all the way from the Bahamas, Dr. Ann Higgins. She is co-pastor of Creative Christian Arts Ministries International and president of the World Dance Council UNESCO Nassau Bahamas section. She is a dancer, choreographer, author, and producer. She has been working in performing arts for over 50 years. She also currently works for the government of the Bahamas in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. She works as project manager in the Office of the Spouse of the Prime Minister. She and her husband have founded over 7 cultural organizations, including mentorship programs, dance companies, cultural institutes, and networks. They've established 4 community centers in urban areas where they provide homework assistance, reading, and other creative arts programs for children, underserved children especially. Dr. Higgins has traveled throughout the world, teaching, training dancers in the area of arts, and bringing a message of peace and hope. So it's not just creative arts for its own sake, but for the sake of bringing peace, joy, and also cultural understanding and awareness. So let's hear a little bit of a personal note from the nominator. That would be from Gail Veith. She is Secretary General of the Universal Peace Federation in Barbados. So Gail, why don't you give us a little bit about why you nominated Dr. Higgins?
Well, I'm still recovering from Teresa's story. What an amazing story. What women go through. It's incredible. I think we need time to recover. So anyway, yes, I first want to thank President Angelica Selly and Vice President Katerina Connery of the Women's Federation for World Peace for putting on such wonderful events like these. I also want to thank them for stepping out of their usual region of North America to extend this HerStory Award for the first time to someone outside of the United States, namely the Bahamas and the Caribbean. And I'm speaking to you from Barbados. Many people say, what's a white lady doing living in Barbados? We've been here for 400 years. My ancestor arrived 10 years after the British arrived, 400 years ago. He was an indentured slave, John of Greenwich. And I'm so happy to honor this amazing lady from the Bahamas right here in the Caribbean. When I heard about the HerStory Award, I immediately thought of a very special person, Dr. Ann Higgins of the Bahamas. Like so many of us, Dr. Higgins started out in life looking for love in all the wrong places and making mistakes accordingly. However, by the grace of God, she had a turnaround in her life when she grabbed onto the hand of God and climbed a ladder of living for his glory and for helping others to do the same. I had the pleasure of getting to know Dr. Higgins while working on a couple of webinars sponsored by the Universal Peace Federation. The first webinar was for First Ladies of the Caribbean. Dr. Higgins was my point of contact with the Bahamian First Lady of the time because she was her executive assistant. The second webinar was one of culture and arts as a pathway to harmony. To my surprise, Dr. Higgins had been working directly in this field for 35 years. I was so moved by her spirit. She was always so positive, so enthusiastic, so patient, and so kind. I knew she was a very special person. Then, after listening to her life journey, I came to understand why I felt the way I did. Besides her numerous accomplishments, the biggest source of joy I get from Dr. Higgins is watching how she leads the way in showing all women that we can all recover our dignity and value as daughters of God who love and serve Him in our purest sense. I am so honored to have nominated Dr. Ann Higgins, who is so loved by God, for having left the den of iniquity to follow Him and to inspire all of us women to do the same. The love of God oozes out of her, as you will see for yourself as she gives her presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Gail. I feel like after that introduction, we just can't wait to hear from her. But first, let's bring up the award. Let's bring up our president. Thank you, so that we can digitally give it to Dr. Higgins. Go ahead.
It is truly my great honor, Dr. Higgins, to give you the HerStory Award from the Women's Federation for World Peace USA on this day on March 26, 2022. We honor your exemplary service to bring peace, cultural understanding, and positive transformation through creative arts based on your journey of overcoming unimaginable challenges. We applaud your many years of dedication to guiding young men and women to develop their talents and use them for a higher purpose. And there is so much more. Congratulations, Dr. Higgins, and welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to receive from you this award from your federation. And I tell you, I am truly honored that God has favored me and opened the door. It's been about over 50 years in the area of the performing arts, secularly, and 36 years now, as Gail mentioned, actually ministering and using my gifts for the Lord. And for some strange reason, no matter what, if I'm entering a stage, 50 years later, my heart always beat and I'm always nervous. And I said, you know, if I've been doing this for over 50 years, why do I feel this way every time I'm introduced like this to speak or to get on the stage? And I realized that because I never want to go unless the Lord goes with me, I'm always nervous, because if you do it without Him, He calls it nothing. He says, anything you do without me is nothing. So my approach to anything without Him is nothing. And so I'm relying on the Holy Spirit even now to speak to you concerning what part of my story would He want to be released, because I know that every time you speak, there's someone's life He wants to touch. And it might be a small portion of what I went through, because it'll take a lifetime to really rehearse everything that I've went through. Thank you, Gail, for nominating me so much. Gail, because of your kind words as well. But today, I just want to say that I give God the glory for where He's brought me from to where I am now, because I could have been lying in my grave if I had not surrendered my life to the Lord because of the lifestyle. At the age of 13, my mom and dad separated, and I think that was the breaking of Daddy's little girl that broke my heart when my father and mother had to part. And I always said to her, when are you going to leave? Because it was out of abusive relationship. He'd get drunk and come home, and everybody got to wake up in the middle of the night and run out of the house because he is drunk and he's want to fight and, well, you know, pick a fight. And so as Daddy's little girl, I always cried out when finally my mom, after so many years, decided, I'm leaving. 7 kids. And she went back home to our home place, which was Grand Bahama in the Bahamas. And so at the age of 13, I always longed for the daddy that was never there, because my mom ran for her life. That resulted in me looking for my father in older men. So all my relationships were always older men. I was looking for daddy who had left me at the age of 13. And these men took care of me like the daddy's girl, the money, the jewelry, the apartment, buying me a house, a car. And that was the lifestyle. At the age of about 16, I started rehearsing for casino show, and by the age of 19 I was dancing as a topless lead dancer in the casino. Went away to New York and studied, and went to the dance theater of Harlem, came back to dance as a professional dancer in the casino. And so my life, my nights were my days and my days were my nights. That led to all night in the casino, and then the disco till morning, and the drinking, the drugs, cocaine, marijuana, whatever it took, that was the lifestyle. And so that part of my life, torn between not having a father, living that promiscuous lifestyle, drugs and alcohol, all of it was a part of my past. And I ended up as a professional dancer, one of the first in the Bahamas, in the casino in Grand Bahama. And when they built the new Crystal Palace Casino in Nassau, I transcend from Grand Bahama of 15 years to the casino in Nassau, still being a lead topless dancer in the casino. And then about February 10th, 1985, something wonderful happened to me. That was when I ended up giving my life to Christ. And now I was like, what do you do? I finally was naked. I felt like I guess Adam and Eve, when they were in the garden and they sinned, it was like, okay, you were always naked. How come only now you're feeling that you're naked? I couldn't go back. I had received the Lord in my heart, and my whole life was changed. I got delivered instantly from drugs and alcohol. That day when I gave my life to the Lord, February 10th, 1985, my eyes were open. I felt like, oh no, I can't go back to where I was. And my pastor, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, he said, God give you a gift. Now, because you've given your life to him, he didn't take it away from you. You will now use it that he may be glorified through it. That began my journey of being able to minister in dance still, but this time I was worshiping God. I was using music of encouragement and music of enlightenment that brought people to their knees. I remember dancing the song, I Surrender All. And as I danced that song, and I ended up on the ground just weeping and filled with the Spirit of the Lord. And as I opened my eyes, people were at the altar giving their life to the Lord. For me, this was strange. I was used to dancing in the casino half naked and people enjoying themselves and drinking and partying. And now I'm dancing and people are surrendering their life to the Lord. Well, that is when I decided that I will now teach children how to worship the Lord. I ended up building 3 community centers, and I started teaching kids to dance and music and drums and all types of instruments. And I use it as an evangelistic tool. We went throughout China and the United States and Europe, using children to minister in that area. And through that, people's lives were touched. And today, my compassion and my drive is to bring children out of the abuse sexually, verbally, and to use their gift and bring them in a place of safety where they do not have to go out and do what I did. And so now, as a result of that, I have 3 community centers. I have about 7 organizations in the arts and kids, keeping kids from violence. And as a result, I am just so grateful that I can now use my gift to draw people into safety. And so I thank you again. I tell you, my story is so long, but I would keep it short for the sake of time. But I'm honored that I can be a blessing to those that God has called me to be a blessing to.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Higgins, for sharing. Please, everyone who's here, write your congratulations, write your messages of love and appreciation in the chat. That was very powerful, and I'm sure we can also feel, yeah, there's a lot more to share. And yeah, it's just so amazing to hear how God touches your life, and then how both, Ms. Pettaway and also Dr. Higgins found a way to use your gifts, your background, your talents in order for God to touch other people through you. So that's really amazing. And I'm sure we can hear that through the other stories we're going to be hearing.